Folks that listen to this interview may they may hear this and seem like I'm just firing off questions to you, almost like a multiple choice quiz or something. And I want people to go to your website at towneforcongress.com, TOWNE for Congress.com, because I started off by saying this. I'm going to say it again now. Jake, I've not seen anybody with where do you get did you write all the stuff at your site? It is like an encyclopedia of the issues and what you believe, and you and I could literally talk for weeks about all the stuff you believe and you stand for. Are you behind all of this, or do you have someone writing stuff for you, or is this just all you?
Well, actually, all the articles, sometimes I have one or two people help me out with research, and those are like noted. For instance, my healthcare plank was written by a healthcare professional that worked for the government for 20 years. My veterans plank was written by a veteran, and I just went through things. But everything else there is really pretty much written by myself. I've done quite a bit of studying while I was abroad in China, and I'm able to apply that to the situations we have today. And what I try to do on the website is to get people there and explain it to them. Like I can explain in person at events locally, but the website's a great tool in order to get information out.
Who is the folk, the man or the woman who will vote for you? Who's going to vote for you? If you could sort of profile that person, who's going to vote for Jake Towne?
Well, the people that are going to be voting for me are the people that are sick and tired of having their liberties assaulted by the government. They're sick and tired of a large federal government that keeps messing everything up. They're going to be voting for me because I'm against both the wars that we have abroad, the Iraq War and the Afghanistan War, both. They're going to be voting because of my stance on the income tax. I believe that everyone has a right to their own income, and they don't have the right to vote for, or they don't have, the government doesn't have the right to take from you and give to someone else. That I stand for sound money. That I stand for accountability and the rule of law. I have this great idea called the Open Office, which we can go into if you like, but it's basically a web-based format that will give every citizen, every resident in my district, transparency. They'll be able to comment on any legislation. There'll be a phone tally when they call into the office, and every month they'll be getting a report that tells every House floor vote that I take and why, each bill that I co-sponsor and why, and each bill that I introduce and why. I'm not in this. Okay.
Jake, hold on. I think you're giving people way too much credit, my friend. You assume that they even know who their congressman is in the first place. It's just, I see what you're doing, and I hope people listen to this, because I've, again, not heard someone be more open and more transparent about what it is you want to do, how they can contact you. How did you get this way? You were in China. I understand that, but what turned a light on inside of you where you said, I am going to be this guy?
Well, it actually, if there was one point in time, it was actually the bailout, which you probably remember, the banker bailout back in 2008. And at that point, I really started thinking that, what's going on right now, it's not going to stop. It's going to keep on going unless people, and I had been writing before while I was abroad about what was happening, but, you really, if you're going to complain about things, you can only do that for so long before you need to do something about it. And that's what I decided to do. And, while I was working abroad, things were going very well over there. I resigned my job to come back. It's not about the money. I was making quite a bit while abroad. And the salary of a congressman is, for folks that may not know, is $174,000. And I think that's just way too much. So for myself and there's a bunch of other congressional candidates out there, if you take a look, we've decided to not accept our salaries. And what I've said is that I'll only take the median household income. Whatever's left, I'll give back to the communities, to the local nonprofit hospitals, so that at least, people realize that I'm out there. I'm not going to be enlisting in the congressional pension plan, which is just almost theft. It gives them up to 80% of their pay for the rest of their lives. And I won't be enlisting in the elite congressional health care plan, because if Congress is going to enlist into it, why not let everybody else?
When people listen to you, I know people that are listening right now, they're feeling very hopeful. They listen to someone like you, or Rob McNeely, or Adam Kokesh, Ron Paul. All of you have maybe a different slant on the same theme, but I just feel so hopeful listening to what you guys talk about. And I hope that more people will visit your website today and check out what you're about at Towne for Congress, TOWNE for Congress.com. Will you come back and talk with me again about other stuff?
Absolutely, Don. Would love to.
Your site has just got so much information. If you don't win, although you're going to win, this interview pushes you over the top. Write it down. But if by some slight chance you don't, you, my friend, have a career as an archiver of important information and details. If congressmen and women were even 1/10 as prepared for their job as you are, this country wouldn't be where we are today. Before we go, I got to ask you one question more. What makes you angry, Jake? What makes you angry about where we are today? So, I mean, viscerally angry.
Viscerally angry. Wow. When I think of anger, the one thing that comes up in my head is the Federal Reserve. And that's the one topic that'll just send me over the edge at times, because what they're doing with our money is just completely immoral. And people need to realize what they're doing. I mean, they're stealing from you every single day. They're stealing from the money in your pocket by creating new money and new credit. Maybe they're out bailing out Greece. There's no control whatsoever about Congress and from Congress. And what we need to do is we need to audit the Federal Reserve, and we need to end it. So that's probably one of the largest issues that I think that we have today. And when you look at a lot of the problems that we have, the excessive spending, the central bank is the enabler of that, and all these wars that we have abroad, without the money and credit from the Federal Reserve, we wouldn't be capable of running these expensive wars abroad.
Well, that's a huge way to end this, because next time we talk, I'm sure a lot of the folks that are listening would love to hear you talk more about the Federal Reserve. And Jake, thank you for coming on with me today.
No, thank you, Don. Much appreciated. Stay free out there.